So it's very vital, as Damien was saying. Oh, sorry, I gotta go over here. As Damien was saying, have documentation. Just even to have your operating agreement, and make sure you review it and know it. If you're an LLC, it's just as important to have other policies and documentation within your business. So one of the most vital ones, if you're hiring employees, is to have a hiring policy. Knowing and a structure to your hiring. So knowing how you're going to hire employees, what job descriptions, do you have formalized job descriptions? Do you have a process that you follow as a business? The biggest time when I see the most turnover in businesses, it's because either they don't have a process that they're following. They just say, oh, I think I need a new, cashier. And your other cashier says, oh, my friend, she's looking for a job. Okay, bring her in, let me hire. And yeah, she's nice enough. Yeah, we'll hire her. But you don't have a process, and you didn't follow your process of actually going through, looking for candidates, putting together a job description, schedule, what you would need. And that's where 9 out of 10 times, those people don't work in those positions, is because you didn't follow your own process. Does that make sense?
I wonder who has employees.
Yeah, how many people in here have actual employees?
Okay,
a few. I know a few did. So creating a process and following it. Also, depending on your business needs, are you going to be running backgrounds? Damien, you have a retail business. People are handling cash and goods and products. So do you do backgrounds on your employees? And and if you did, what are you looking for in those backgrounds? There's a lot of new laws regarding backgrounds, and what you can and can't really look at in a way. And there's a lot of new laws on, pre-screening for backgrounds. And luckily we're not in one of those states or jurisdictions that has those laws, but you still have to be aware of what's out there. There's a new law. It's all through California and several other states. It's called Ban the Box. How many of you guys have heard of it? Anyone? So it's banning the box on the application that asks whether or not you've been convicted of a crime. Because we don't want to initially just say, no, you've been convicted of a crime, and so I'm not going to even interview you. It really wants us to look at candidates as a whole, what they can contribute. Then, take check their background, take their crime, and see if it's something that really does correlate to the business. Does that make sense?
Got a question about that. I've never heard that one.
Yes.
I don't know if employees have a lot of independent contractors who need to be licensed.
Mm-hmm.
If they are a felon, they won't get licensed.
Correct.
So I'm still not allowed to ask that question.
You in this jurisdiction, in Nevada, it doesn't. You can absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But you have to be aware that the law exists in other jurisdictions. Most of us are small businesses, so we're going to do like a in-paper person application. If you were a larger company that had an online application and you have candidates applying from other areas, you have to be aware of it, because it is. So somebody from California could fill out your online application and then potentially open yourself up for a lawsuit because they're protected by where they live.
I've got a follow-up question on that.
Yes.
We do a lot of SBA work.
Uh-huh.
Okay. One of the prohibitions of getting an SBA loan is if you're a convicted felon.
Mm-hmm.
SBA doesn't think you're a good character.
Correct.
I don't ask people, I tell people, if they come to us with not enough money to buy a business and are looking for an SBA loan, I say, if you've got a felony, don't waste your time filling the paper.
Correct. Well, and you're dealing on a customer basis. You're not dealing. It's not an employee. They don't have the employee rights.
Okay, so
these are just for employees. Correct. Yeah. So exactly. So, but basically, you need to look at, do you have a process? Do you have a policy? Do you have a procedure on how you hire?
So it'd be interesting, David and Damien, do you have a hiring policy?
I do. Yeah, I have actually a workbook that they fill out, that they have to initial of all their duties and responsibilities, because I expect that, because they work by themselves generally because I'm not there.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that all these things are taken care of while I'm not there. That way I know that I'm paying for an employee that's doing the job that I want them to do.
Okay.
So yes, I do. And they sign in everything.
Okay. Before you hire.
Well, I have an application process.
Yeah,
that
that's
they
what, like
fill
the
out.
pre-hire
Right. And then-
interviewing process.
And then I'll interview them, and if I like them, then I'll hire them, and I'll send them my packet, which it says confidentiality packet as well, because I don't want them sharing my business secrets to, or who I buy from, things like that. And so they fill all that stuff out, and then I send the paperwork over to the government, because the IRS needs their W-4, their I-9s, and that kind of stuff. So that's generally how I do it, but I do have policies and procedures in place for the hiring policy. And plus, if there's an issue, not to cut you off, but if there's an issue with, like say my employees can't get along, say I have 4 employees, and say they don't get along, I want to make sure they know the protocol and how to handle those situations, so that way they don't get in a situation where they don't know what to do if they, have problems.
Correct.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
What's my next one?
Here's another one for you.
All right, and job descriptions. So how many who have businesses have job descriptions for those positions?
How about if you don't have employees, do you have a job description for
For
yourself?
yourself. You do.
How many are just flying by the seat of their pants?
Yep. Okay. So job descriptions are really helpful because they really define for you and for the people coming into those roles or performing those roles, what tasks, what are their expectations, what are their true job duties. And I mean, it can evolve. You can change your job description as often and as much as you would like. But it's, that person's template for their job. Okay? So we'll go to the next one.
Another one? Okay, here we go.
Can I bring up something about the job description?
Yes, sir.
Also, what I like about job descriptions too is when your employee is not doing something they're supposed to be doing, they have a job description, that one-page job description that outlines everything. And I just say, please, you understand how this is supposed to work. If you have questions on, any of these job description items, I'd be happy to go over it. But what I'll do if I have an employee who is not fulfilling their duties, I'll actually go over the entire job description with them again. And then as I'm going through it, when I get into a spot that I know that they're not functioning, I'll spend a little more time on that just to hopefully kind of let it sink in a little bit better. But that way they get a refresher course on what I expect. And therefore, and it gives them an opportunity to, last thing, it also gives them an opportunity to come back to me and let me know if I'm failing them in any way as the owner. So that way they can follow up and say, you know what, you're not buying enough taffy, so how am I supposed to keep the taffy bin filled if you're not buying enough product for me to put it in there? So that kind of thing can happen too.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Gotcha.
David,
And
do you
that
have
goes-
a question?
I'll bring you some next time.
Anybody else have a question? And that kind of goes, your segue goes into our next thing of how do you conduct ongoing reviews. That's a great way to conduct an informal review. Do you have a standardized annual review process with your employees?
I do actually. For me, what I do is I actually give them a raise every year. It's not a lot. I don't do a whole lot of money, but that way it encourages me to follow with them every year. And then I always think, like, I just did one for one of my employees. I'm like, this is your 3rd review? You've been here 3 years? Like, I don't realize how fast time goes by sometimes, but that's what I do is for when I give them a raise. It's only like 25 cents, it's not like a whole lot of money, but it adds up for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And psychologically.
Psychologically, too. It makes them feel appreciated and they stay longer, too, than like, I'm stuck in a dead-end job,
Yeah, absolutely. David, do you do any reviews with your employees? Any type of formalized review process?
Yeah, this is kind of the other comment I was going to make. My firm is so small
Yeah, absolutely.
that, what we're talking about is very important in larger groups.
Mm-hmm.
In smaller groups, they're in the same room with me.
Yes.
So they're getting frequent, if not daily, if not hourly.
Reviews.
I know, we're just, and their job description is whatever I need you to do.
Yeah.
And so it's just
Yeah.
kind of a different animal
Yeah,
in a small group with
absolutely.
somebody that's basically your assistant and is there to to do what needs to get done.
Absolutely.
Particular needs.
A good question would be, how is that working for you? And do you see ways you could tune that up?
Yeah, the downside is some people don't like working that way.
Correct.
Some
Yeah, it
people
takes a
want to be
special person.
independent. Some people want, look, tell me what my job is and leave me alone. But if that's what you're looking for, that's not what I need. What I need is somebody to take the overload.
Yeah.
Because what you are, people are coming to me because I have the license, I have to do the work. But there's parts of my work that I can pass off to you, but I have to approve. So there's a relationship that has to be very tight. You got to stay with me and be with me, and you have to be willing to be overseen by me because I have ethical obligations to look at everything you do.
Well, it's a totally different person, because there's some people who could take that as criticism and it would insult them, as opposed to somebody who understands that working relationship. So being able to screen for that when you do have to hire it
Mr.
effectively.
Salmon must be the only attorney in Las Vegas who's actually doing his own work. Normally in my experience it's the paralegals, but
Yeah. And then the other beast to this is our workforce dynamic is changing, which I'm sure you might have experienced. Is there a difference in conducting reviews with different generational type of employees as well, right? We have that new generational millennial employee that everybody's talking about, right? How many of you guys have worked with millennials and understand how to manage them a little bit differently, right? Absolutely, it's a totally different animal. One way that I've done this in the past is, instead of doing like a 90-day introductory type of review, we do more of like a check-in. Because I mean, can you really honestly review somebody after 90 days? You really know and see everything. But we do more of like a check-in, sit down, how's it going? How can I improve? This is how you can improve, and really find out, what truly, because each person is motivated differently, right? You motivate differently than I motivate. So how to manage independently as well. How to, some people like to be recognized by just a pat on the back and a thank you, and some people want the whole, cake in front of everybody, party and parade. And other people would like die in the closet if they had that. So, yes, sir.
About the millennial people, do you think, because I know there's a couple people who believe this, do you think that millennium workers are childish?
No, not at all. I think there's childish workers from every generation. I just think that, they have different needs, as, baby boomers had different needs, and they were considered as probably demanding in their day as well. So it's just understanding those different needs and managing them differently. But I, also respect the millennial generation, because I think that they've brought a lot of changes to the workplace. And they've also brought more of this independent thinking. And that's kind of allowed a lot of us to go independent as well.
Thank you.
So I think just like everything else, there's, good and bad, and learning how to manage it. So.
Okay, how can we turn this into, anyone in the
Goal
room,
setting.
turn this into a 30-day goal?
I have one for everybody, is to write your own job description.
Ooh. Oh my gosh.
Oh yay, food. Yay. Probably you want to do over here? Yeah, write your own job description within, and so you really understand what your duties are, your expectations of yourself. Yes, ma'am.
Have you noticed a change in how things are being run with people using much more VAs?
Using what?
VAs.
VAs? You mean like?
Virtual assistants.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like veterans.
Oh,
Like so.
no. Virtual assistants.
Oh, virtual assistants?
Yeah, we've been dealing with them instead of hiring people. Because originally it was, we got to hire some college kids to help us out.
Mhm.
One of my companies to help us out with some things. We've been to VAs.
Mhm.
And I didn't deal with them But I kind of listened in on the phone conversation, but I know.
That's a big thing because a lot of people are using contractors in a lot of things.
Yeah.
And my contractors always used to be, right here working with me. And the age, I did not get a feeling that there was a relationship building, a connection building. It was more in person.
Yeah, and it can be. Yeah. You have to kind of figure out what dynamic works best for your business.
Even
But yeah.
those, you're still gonna have to somehow figure out how you do your reviews monthly or weekly.
Yeah, no, but that's managing a vendor versus managing an employee. But it's virtually the same thing. You still have to give constant feedback. And when we spend just as much time managing our vendors, right? And we have expectations like, you have deliveries, and if they're not on time, or, I'm sure you might maybe have a cleaning crew that comes in, and you have expectations of those vendors as well. So you have to manage that relationship also. Very similar to managing employees, but a little bit different.
That would help us though legally too, because in dealing with employees is legally much harder with.
Well, you don't have any legal obligations to a vendor other outside of your contract. Where as an employee, you have a lot of legal obligations, that you have to follow.
That's that negative difference.
But those legal
No, it
obligations.
shouldn't. You should be looking for the same thing in your vendors.
Those legal obligations exist in order to facilitate a meaningful relationship and
Correct.
give you a track to run on.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of interesting. There are no legal obligations, or not a whole lot of legal obligations for contractors.
Correct.
But the same.
Exactly,
need
but you have
is
to be
there,
very careful
developing
with your
relationship,
contractors.
Working with them. So
Yeah.
that's a really.
Oh, absolutely. But you have to
That's
be
a
very
huge
careful
area.
with your contractors, and you have to, definitely consult with like a legal counsel or somebody to ensure that they truly are an independent contractor. Because I will tell you, the Department of Labor in Las Vegas specifically is cracking down on 1099 employees. So a lot of small businesses are paying their employees by 1099ing them. I know several off the top of my head that do it. And there's a lot of fines and issues that come along with that. And so you have to be very, very careful, because I've heard the head of the DOL in Nevada and Vegas say that that's one of their top priorities right now, is to crack down on that. Because, and like we talked about last week with the fines that you have with the work comp, if you're not covering work comp, you have that plus 10 other fines. Because and now you're responsible for all the back taxes, not the employee at all, their portion and yours, plus several other things. So just be very careful when you're 1099ing somebody that they truly are a contractor. Just giving you all that warning. So, yeah.
Excellent,
Thank you.
excellent, thank you. Okay, and just to show you really quick, here's the website. You go to resources, click on articles, because Kelly and all of us have done a lot more than what we're able to cover today. And you look at the article directory, moving forward. Click on that, and you're going to see all the articles with the read more, and there's a wealth of information on every topic that's being presented today.